This is the Ben Lemos Show. Your game, your stories, your show.
All right, what's going on?
What's up, guys? Different
Yeah,
people than you're used to.
we,
Not Ben here today.
we hijacked the Ben Lemos Show. This is the Ben Lemos Show, but Ben is not here. Instead, Josh,
Ariana.
we're here. We're going to be taking over the Ben Lemos Show today. We kind of hijacked it a little bit, but that's okay. Why are we doing this? Well, we're going to be doing an episode based on the upcoming NBA draft.
Really excited. June 23rd.
Yeah, June 23rd is round one, night one, round one, whatever you want to say, but that's going to be really fun. Today we're going to just go through the first 14 picks of our kind of mock of who we think should go, kind of mixed with like who we want to see go.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this.
I'm ready.
This is
I think the first 3-4 picks are pretty obvious.
self-explanatory. We can always elaborate.
We're gonna go. We'll go
We'll
through.
talk about it.
But
Again,
I think everyone.
This is not the Ben Lemos, show you're used to, because he's not here.
We're not
But
like him either.
Yeah, this is we're
He's
here.
definitely a lot better than this than we probably are, to be honest.
Definitely. No, 100%. But yeah, not the usual Ben Lemos show here. We're taking over for him today, and let's get started. So I'm gonna pull up this here. It's kind of an image, a little tough to see on our end. I'm sure, unfortunately, it's not the greatest to see there, but that's just kind of the best
Just
size
to help you
that
guys
fits,
follow
but
along exactly what we see, and
we won't stay on this screen too long.
yeah.
Washington, the worst team in the league, first time in forever.
Yep.
Team who's the worst team in the league gets the first pick, and I really just
I
see
think
it's
pretty self-explanatory.
it's
I think it's
DeBansa.
going to be AJ DeBansa, no doubt
Yeah.
about it. He's been probably the most consistent player in college all year at BYU. Maybe getting used to college in the first few games, he wasn't his typical self, but in big games when it mattered, we saw the true AJ DeBansa and how dominant he really is, and he proved that, and I think no doubt he's going to be the number one pick.
she has insane college basketball knowledge, so she's definitely the right person to have here with me today. Yeah, I have AJ going there too. I just think he's the best player. I think he's the most complete player in this class. You don't really have the concerns that you have with Peterson about does he really want it? Is he engaged? I think AJ DeBansa is well engaged. He said he's going number one.
Even with I mean, obviously this probably won't be a big deal because it's not a significant injury, but with Caleb Love's injury,
Wilson, you mean?
Yeah, Caleb Wilson.
Yeah.
You may have concerns.
Both Tar Heels. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, absolutely. I think AJ DeBansa. Now, what's kind of interesting to me is when you look at the roster breakdown for the Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards have
the pieces. It's not like they don't.
They have a very solid team on paper going into next year, fully healthy before this pick is going to be made, because you have Trae Young, Anthony Davis. We'll see what he does, but Alex Sarr took a huge step this year in the right direction. I like what I saw from him a lot. Exactly the same out of Keyshawn George. Bub Carrington, fine. I mean, it's not what I kind of thought he would have a better year. But, I mean, they have a lot of great young pieces already.
The pieces are there. It's going to be...
I think Trey Johnson is a stud. I think Trey Johnson's going to
be a beast.
Really good. Now you're just adding DeBansa in.
To an already good team, I think it's the right fit.
I think that taking Peterson kind of a year ago, you wouldn't have thought, if they have, they wouldn't have taken Trey Johnson, obviously. But maybe they view Trey Johnson as kind of like that sixth man kind of role. I don't know. I thought he was very good, not talked about enough in his rookie season. He was efficient, could score the ball pretty effortlessly. So I like to see what he does again in year two. I think DeBansa makes a little more sense, even though now it's like Keyshawn George just had an awesome year, and it's like, what are you going to do with him and AJ? Can those guys be out there together? And I mean, they probably could. Nice pieces off the bench, obviously, with Champagny as well. As I said, Bub Carrington, we'll see what he does kind of this year as well. They might sign a free agent. We'll see. But, like I said, I think that this is a draft where, especially looking at their team going best player available, doesn't create as much of a logjam as maybe it would with Peterson. So 'cause Peterson could also handle the ball, and you've got Trey Young as well. Defensively, we don't know how that's going to work. So I think this is definitely the right pick. Boozer, it's just a reach at one.
You
in
can
my
argue
opinion.
Boozer, but I don't.
I don't-
He wasn't the best player in college.
I-
I mean, he had a great year and was putting up great numbers, better than Cooper Flagg did last year.
Yeah.
But overall, if you look at who was the most consistent at their position, who's the most consistent throughout college basketball,
DeBanza.
by far it was
Yeah,
DeBanza.
not even close.
I mean, in the first North Carolina game versus Duke, you saw Cam Boozer and completely had a meltdown of the
Yeah.
situation. Was not able to perform under the bright lights,
and
and
that's not the only
and
game.
Duke and UNC is probably one of their biggest games and what they always look forward to, and just wasn't
that wasn't
performing
the only
well.
one. He had a couple others too where he was. I mean, especially like.
Yeah.
Of course, turning it around is great, but I mean, kind of like
He wasn't the best either versus UConn.
Sienna, though. I was gonna say in the first half. Even if
Sienna first
like,
half. I
think
mean, he
that,
did
like,
turn it around, but you can't be having that type of situation around
To
a
start.
64, especially
Exactly.
versus 16 seed.
That's
And
exactly
you're the number one
what I
overall
meant.
seed.
Yeah.
You can't be doing that.
Even against was it second round against TCU, I want to
Yeah,
say, right?
TCU.
Yeah. But I mean, just kind of that's kind of what I think. We're in agreement. AJ DeBanza should and will go one.
Yeah.
The second pick is going to be made here by the Utah Jazz. So the Jazz got the second pick. They had a rough year, and it's going to pay off.
They need
Now-
this. They needed this pick here, but I mean, with one, it would have really. If they got one, it really would have been pivotal for them.
I think AJ would be great there as well. It
I
depends,
agree.
like, even with Markkanen, like, they could play together. They'd make it work. I think Peterson is kind of what they're after.
I think that's what it's gonna end up being.
Now, if they had the first pick, I think they'd 100% switch up and go AJ DeBanza.
I agree.
Will they trade for the first pick because of AJ DeBanza being from
I just
the
wonder.
area, in
I
BYU?
do wonder though if the Jazz would be willing to do that.
Like, trade up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. And
Because
it's-
they're already in a great spot at 2, so it's
Yeah.
like obviously they're gonna want to take a risk. They may listen to a few offers for trading out.
yeah, trading
Wouldn't be
down, maybe.
surprised. But I
Yeah.
think, I mean, at the end of the day, I think what's gonna happen is they're gonna select Darren Peterson at 2, and they're gonna hope that he can be their
Kieran George.
main guy
Yeah.
with all their
Keontae.
pieces.
I mean, Keontae George just had an most improved
Unbelievable
player,
year.
almost all-star caliber year.
Without a doubt.
Peterson would just add a new level of explosiveness and scoring, shooting into that backcourt.
Now I do wonder though with Darren Peterson, how he's gonna want that.
Yeah,
Is he gonna want to
playing
go
there.
to Utah?
Look at Ace Bailey
I
last
was
year.
look at Ace Bailey did that whole situation. I'm not gonna play here. I'm not gonna do the. I wonder if that could be the same thing. He did it a few times in college. People said.
Away from the huddles here and there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's much to worry about. We've seen that.
I
in the
mean, if
NBA, but,
you've seen what he said, he was sick earlier in the year, and all
Yeah.
the situations that he was actually in the hospital, got rushed to the hospital a few times because of this illness he had.
disputes too with the family a little bit.
Yeah.
Kinda not wanting him to. Be
I mean,
out
it's
there.
been a tough situation for him. Tough first year in college, no doubt. I think going to Utah and eventually just being in the NBA is going to be good for him.
Yeah, and I agree. And I mean, kind of looking at Utah's team, I mean, it's just another one of those things where you can fit a guy in like Peterson, even if you were to have someone like who could have taken his spot. Same thing with DeBanza. I mean, like if you throw him in there, you already have an all-star caliber player in Larry Markkanen, but it doesn't matter. This is completely different. I think that Peterson makes sense, and I think the fit is there. I really do. Again, I think that they have a nice team already. I think Markkanen is still a fine player. Jaren Jackson was a nice addition, like a really nice addition, one of the better defenders in the league. Walker Kessler is going to be coming back, and I have high hopes for him. I mean, even like some of the bench guys, if they decide to keep Nurkic around, I mean, he was really good last year too. Ace Bailey still has a lot of untapped potential. I would see this team as their ceiling next year as like a 10 or 9 seed. Again, that might just be a bit of a rush because we don't know what Peterson's going to do. I think everyone's kind of expecting Keontae George to
I have
continue what he
questions
did,
about
but
Darren Peterson's play as well and his
Yeah.
consistency. He wasn't much of a consistent player, especially with all the time he took off in college.
it's just I don't think they would take Boozer with Jaren.
I
mean, they
wouldn't
just
be
gave up a
surprised,
haul.
but I highly doubt it, especially with Jaren Jackson being there.
Yeah,
I think it'd be the wrong move on their end. I
Yeah.
think the smart move is to take Darren Peterson and hope he can produce.
Yeah, I mean, they just gave up a haul to get Jaren Jackson. I kind of think they're going to sit tight at 2 and end up drafting Darren Peterson. Kind of just moving on. Yeah. So
I think pick 3 is by Memphis, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's another relatively easy one.
I think it's going to be Cam Boozer without a doubt.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be Boozer.
You can argue Cam Boozer at 1 and 2, but I think Cam Boozer at 3 is probably the most sense right there for him.
Now, they traded, obviously, they parted ways with Jaren Jackson. They sent him away. They might even trade away Ja. This is the guy to build around in Memphis. Just see what he can do. Obviously, Cedric Coward and Cam Boozer is kind of a young duo taking over. I would really like to see. Again, I don't know what's going to happen with Ja Morant. I think that Cedric Coward is going to be a very good player there. And I think that Cameron Boozer would get, a lot of fans in games, get people engaged, trade Ja Morant and kind of just restart, honestly. Build around Boozer. Like we said, we've had his concerns. We've had the concerns about him. He's had his reasons to get fans concerned. But then you also have to look at Peterson, and we've kind of felt the same way. So I still, at the end of the day, think in the NBA these guys will translate quite fine.
Especially Cam Boozer with how talented he is and his height and his weight.
Yeah.
I think it all works in his favor. I think he's going to be a great player. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he's the best player in this draft class by far. I do think he'll still be DeBance at the end of the year, but Cam Boozer's right up there.
Yeah, I mean, just a relatively easy one there from Memphis. And then we go to Chicago at 4. I think
that's an interesting one, but I think it should be Caleb Love.
Yeah, Wilson, you mean.
Caleb
right?
Wilson.
Yeah, I think it should be Caleb Wilson, too. I mean, this right now is just a prime chance for the Bulls to change things and have a set goal of trying to retool or rebuild, I should say, this team. And I say that because I think they kind of took a first step. Now, it's a whole new front office, right? But, I mean, at the trade deadline, they took a very nice step, kind of parting with some of their guys that they've had for, 5 to 7 years, the last 5 or 7 years, the last, Kobe White, Vucevic. Now, obviously, they let go of Levine. They traded him in the De'Aaron Fox deal about a year and a half ago. But now I think this was just a really good step because now you're keeping Josh Giddey. And you're building around Josh Giddey. And this team, again, on paper, has a lot of guards, but, you took back Anthony Simons and Colin Sexton, who you might not bring back. You took a flyer on Rob Dillingham. We're going to see what Chicago does. I think that Caleb Wilson, Buzelis, Giddey are kind of going to be what we see as the 3 kind of main offensive, defensive focal points, more so Wilson on the defensive side of the ball. In Chicago.
Now, in pick 6.
Yeah, or 5.
5. Yeah, 5 with the Clippers.
So just kind of pick 5 here.
This
is the toughest one for me.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting pick.
Obviously, the top 4 were relatively simple, but this one's tough because I really want to go with the star from Arkansas, Darius Acuff. But they did just trade for Garland.
They've also got Chris Dunn as well as a guard.
Yeah,
I mean, it will be interesting to see what they do here.
I think that Chris Dunn is one of those guys who could get a little more money than what he's getting, and they could get rid of him.
He can move around too. Chris Dunn, he's very versatile.
I actually think Chris Dunn could be on another team next year as well. Honestly, I
really hope not. I like his fit with LA.
I do too. They obviously appreciate what he brings to the table. But I mean, just a lot of guards on this team. A lot of guards on this team. I don't know if Acuff is the right pick here, just based on fit. And then I kind of want to say, is he the best? Is he the best available player right here? I don't think Mikel Brown from Louisville is going to get taken here. I don't think.
I think what's going to happen, it will probably be.
You think Acuff?
I think Darius Acuff.
You do think Acuff? Okay. I don't know if I want to say Acuff, and I really just don't want to say Darius Acuff because I kind of feel that he's. I don't know. I just think obviously you didn't give up a lot besides James Harden to go get Darius Garland, and things could change. Like, oh, you probably weren't even expecting to get the 5th pick. Realistically, Indiana should be here, but they traded that pick away. And who would Indiana take? I don't even know.
I also think another pickup would be the top player from Illinois, Keaton Wagler.
Yeah, I thought of him too, and I feel like that makes sense because he's kind of a guy who can off-ball to Garland a little bit better than a Cuff might be able to, especially considering height and whatnot. Because I don't think Koa Pete sees himself going 5th. Nate Ament probably
I think Keaton Wagler's a better fit than Darius Cuff.
Yeah, I would agree. Based on what they have. And no Garland, and they're taking Cuff all day.
You could argue Nate Ament to an extent, but I think what's going to happen here with LA, I think LA's going to select Keaton Wagler from Illinois. That's going to be my final pick.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I would I think that's fine. I'm completely okay with going with Keaton Wagner. I think that he makes sense. Obviously, he had a very good year at Illinois and took them significantly far in the NCAA March Madness tournament this year.
Yeah.
I truthfully can see him going there.
And at 6, we've got Brooklyn.
I'll tell you right now.
I think this is going to be Darius Cuff.
I don't. And the reason I don't is because I feel that Brooklyn has the next star point guard in the NBA.
You think Mikal Brown?
And Yegor Joman. I think Yegor Joman is going to be really good. And I don't think it's wise to take someone who could be of that same position and be just as great, if that makes sense.
What's your pick here?
I mean, I don't want to say it's a reach, but we've seen reaches in the past. Like, I'm kind of thinking Ament, to be honest. I think it's too early for Koa Pete,
maybe a Daimara.
I still think it's too early.
He's had an amazing combine.
I think it's too early there. And before, if I'm not thinking Ament, I'm probably thinking Braden.
We've also heard of. I don't know if you've heard of the Brazilian, Kareem Lopez.
Oh yeah. I mean, I still think that's too high though.
It's definitely way too high in my opinion.
I think Ament makes a lot more sense.
I think in my opinion it's gonna be Darius Cuff, but I wouldn't be so surprised if it is a Daimara or even Nate Ament.
Just because it's our mock, I'm fine with not saying a Cuff if you are.
Yeah, I'm good with Nate Ament.
I would say Ament, and I mean again, like Braden Burries is interesting. Just to make this more interesting though, I want to say Nate Ament, the 6th overall pick to the Brooklyn
I'm good with
Nets, because then you've got Yegor Joman. I don't know what they're going to do with Claxton. Nolan Traore was fine. Michael Porter Jr., again, you'll see what you'll do with him. But see what you have in Ament. I mean, we were always thinking this team, going into this year is going to be like the worst team in the league. MPJ is going to average 40, whatever, right? But, reality is they're not in the top 3. They're picking 6th.
And I think they've got a solid team.
I think while it could be a reach, it's a very realistic pick at 6.
I agree. Now at 7, we got Sacramento, the Kings.
This is where I have a Cuff.
I agree. I think it's going to be a Cuff or Mikal Brown.
So
I think it could go either, but I do think Darius Cuff would fall here.
Very vice versa.
I must say, as a Devin Carter fan, I love the dynamic duo of Darius Cuff and Devin Carter.
We saw Dev handle the ball a lot.
Now the question would be,
I think a Cuff would take that spot.
I think now the question would be, how do you work Devin Carter around Darius Cuff? Do we keep Devin Carter? Honestly, I really hope they do, because Devin Carter is a very underrated player in my opinion. I think he's
they have a
great defensively.
Yeah, they have a chance to, and I think
when he started, Devin Carter, he was great. He played well.
February, March.
Just as long as he improves his outside shooting, I think they've got a star in Devin Carter.
I think that, looking at this team and thinking like they might just finally take the hint and just revamp whatever they are doing. I mean, honestly, if you look at this, like this roster, Sabonis is on the trade block. Levine should be on the trade block. DeRozan should be not on this team next year, realistically. Yeah. And now you kind of can keep a Cuff or keep Carter, work with a Cuff, meet Clifford, see what he can do next year. Maxime right now is one of the better rookies next year as well, and just kind of go for the youth movement. So now I guess we can look and see to pick 8.
Atlanta Hawks.
I just want to say, obviously, the Pelicans would have been making this selection. We
Yeah.
talked about it all year how awful they were, and it's like, oh wait, Derek Queen was really good. On draft night, I hated it last year.
I wasn't a big fan, but then as I thought about it more, it made sense to me.
Would you rather have the 8th pick in this year's draft or Derek Queen? I'm taking Derek Queen all day.
I'll take Derek Queen.
I think
Derek
New
Queen
Orleans
has been
got
a stud.
lucky. New Orleans got really lucky with this. It
But
wouldn't have
I'm
hurt
not
to
that
add a young
surprised
guy,
though,
but-
because Derek Queen was a monster in college in Maryland.
Maryland, yeah.
He was amazing, and
it's just tough,
he
though.
can stretch the floor.
It's tough because like you also have to look at it from the perspective of like, oh, okay, we would have been adding another young guy,
Yeah.
like maybe.
And
a
that's always a
Braden
risk,
Burries or
especially
something, or Koa Pete,
with
but yeah.
their history.
But I think it could have been so much worse. They lucked out. The
I
pick is
think
going to be made by
right
Atlanta.
here, it's gonna be Mikel Brown.
Yeah, I'd give you that too. I mean, they don't see McCollum. I know they don't see McCollum as a long-term.
Oh, he's
there.
getting older. You really can't view McCollum as the long.
Keep
term
Mikel
piece here.
Brown, what's somewhat local, I guess, with Louisville, and send him to Atlanta. Keep him or send him there. I would like to see what he could do with this team. I think it would be interesting. Again, like Reese Shea, I don't know what he's going to be besides that, but essentially what I'm trying to get at here is like the last big pick you had that you fumbled, and this time I think you're in a better spot to not fumble and take Mikel Brown.
I think that'd be the right pick here. I think
He
that's.
might work well with John Collins.
I
right?
think that would be the
excuse me,
move.
Jalen Johnson, not John
I
Collins.
think-
Jalen Johnson and him might complement.
I think that
each
would be
other.
a great duo, and I think it would work, and I think that would be the move right here.
I mean, then
in my
because you
opinion.
look at it, and maybe like in the next 2 years, you're just a lot better. But depending on if Mikel Brown can hit his ceiling, you still have Jalen Johnson, I would assume. Okongwu's a very good player. Dyson Daniels had a down year after having an awesome year, his first year in Atlanta. But we'll see what happens. I think Mikel Brown is just a good fit for this team. He doesn't have
I
to
agree.
start right away,
No,
like
he
some of these
doesn't.
other guys who are probably going to. He doesn't have to.
Now in the next picks, we got Dallas.
I mean, I have one that I'm thinking of.
I've got someone I'm thinking of.
I'll say it first if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Braden Burries.
Okay. No, I'm not mad at that.
Who do you feel?
I was gonna go Kingston Flemings from Houston.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's true. Now we don't know what Kyrie's gonna do when he comes back. We don't know if they're even gonna keep Kyrie.
And if he's gonna be healthy.
Exactly. That's why I don't know.
Getting older, it is more of a risk.
They might see this and say we're gonna have Cooper Flag for the next, hopefully, at least 8 to 9 years with his restricted free agency in the next about 3
He's
years.
gonna
from
be
now.
their star for the next.
For their
several
future.
years.
Yeah, he doesn't want out and he's gonna stay.
I agree. I think
I
he
don't
definitely
think he
got
will.
frustrated towards the end, but I think that's the growing pains of being a rookie,
Yeah.
especially after being at Duke and
And he
not really
played
losing
better
too much.
Right, he wasn't used to it, but like I said, I think, or like you said, excuse me, with Flemings, I think that he is going to be a guy Dallas might look at as a long-term facilitator, who can also kind of score the ball and be like that second option to Flag. And I actually kind of like your idea of it a lot better.
I'm okay if agreeing with Kingston Flemings here at this point.
Yeah, 100%. I like that a lot better. I really didn't think of Flemings, but I should have. I mean, that's just someone who they're going to look at as a long-term guy next to Cooper Flag. I don't think it's Yaxel. I don't think it's Pete at this point.
I think they need a guard here, especially with the question
This makes
of
a lot of
Kyrie Irving.
sense.
I think this is the best fit.
Yeah, I'll
Now,
give that to you.
moving
I
on, we've got Milwaukee.
agree. Yeah.
This is a very interesting pick. I think
I think that they need someone younger because realistically, taking like an older guy in Yaxel, like I don't know if that's gonna. I mean, again, there's kind of a bad rep here and there about taking. a guy
you don't
who's
know
older,
also
but
the situation with Giannis.
That's
where
why.
he's going to be. So you really
you gotta.
you
take a young
gotta
guy.
take a big hit here, and you gotta take the best available.
Yeah,
And now obviously we don't know who that would be, but
I'm thinking of Burries a little bit.
I was thinking Braden Burries.
I'm thinking of Koa Pete, but still not to the level of his teammate Braden Burries.
I was thinking Braden Burries here, but I could also see Kareem Lopez coming here.
Yeah. I mean,
But
that
then
would just
again,
be
with
a
the question of
replacement,
Giannis,
but you don't
so
know.
I think right now the pick would be Braden Burries, in my opinion.
I agree. I think Burries makes sense. Even if you're going to keep Giannis, you got to hit on this pick.
Well-rounded player from Arizona.
Yeah.
Had a great year with them.
I mean, Yaxel's experience, though, if they did keep Giannis, I don't know why I said that before. I mean, that is a guy who can come in and kind of maybe change the complexity
Especially
a
with
little
the
bit, help you
height.
get better. Yeah, right. But still looking at it, I still think you got to
I think
prioritize
Braden
taking
Burries would be
taking
the
the younger
move
guy.
here.
Yeah, I still think you got to prioritize taking someone with a higher ceiling. In the NBA, I truthfully feel that Burries has the higher ceiling.
I agree.
I will give Braden Burries this pick at 10.
At 11, got
Your
my
Wa-
Golden
your
State
Warriors
Warriors.
here. Yes.
I really was hoping that Yaxel would fall. And
Yeah.
now that we still have him on the board,
Yeah,
I
think
think
it makes sense.
I think Yaxel Lenenborg to the Warriors would be the most sense.
Yeah.
You could argue a Dymar as well, both Michigan.
Right.
I think
Koa Pete.
either
too.
I
Right.
think either one for the Warriors right now. You need a big. I
Yeah.
think that's their biggest downfall right now.
Because as much as I think Quentin Post is a good player,
I just
he's
don't
not
think
going to cut it.
he's.
He
I
will
don't
not.
think he's the
Chris
guy.
Stapps, you can't rely on.
I think Quentin Post's biggest issue can be turnovers. Also,
Yeah.
falling in love with the three too much.
Yeah.
He did that quite a lot, and while he is a great three-point shooter, I think he fell in love
He's
with the
better
three
as
a
a
little
rookie.
too much.
That's what made him do it, and it just kind of didn't work.
Now, don't get me wrong, he's a great player, and I think he would be a great backup for us, but I don't think he's a starter in the NBA.
You might look at it from the standpoint of, like, we did lose a big-time wing in Moses Moody for, like, a gruesome injury
Yeah.
for mostly all of next year, if not all of it.
Yep.
And maybe that would incentivize them to take, like, a Yaxel. But
I think right now,
I would say probably.
the biggest.
It's either Yaxel
Thing-
or a day for me. But
I think no matter what, I think you're going to Michigan guy here. You
Yeah.
could also argue Merez Johnson, but I think right now,
this is 100%.
you got to be
It's
Yaxel.
not Kareem Lopez. It's not Koa Pete.
No.
I think
I think it's going to be Yaxel, and if not, I think it would be a Dymar, and either one I'm very happy with.
While there's guys like this on the board, this is just the best fit.
I think Yaxel is the best fit.
I would say Yaxel.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now,
Because I think Yaxel could just last longer than Mora.
I think he has
maybe.
more of an a ceiling.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he.
While Mora can be good, I think.
I think
Yaxel could be better.
Dymar is going to be a great player. Don't get me wrong, and he's definitely proven that he's ready for the NBA in the combine.
Yeah.
But I think right now Yaxel is
It's
your
Yaxel.
guy.
Yaxel at 11 to the Golden State Warriors. OKC.
Now OKC
This is really
just
tough.
lost to the Spurs pretty recently.
But I mean,
in the
they
Western
could run
Conference
their team back as
Finals.
it is now and finish first again. You don't know.
Absolutely, I think they're the best team in the West behind the Spurs.
I don't know if they would take Mara because you have to look at, like, maybe they decline Hartenstein's team option, or maybe they let him go.
This is a
Then you
difficult
have
pick.
Chet and William, Will, not J-Dub, J. Will.
I do wonder how good of a fit Koa Pete would be here.
Yeah, I mean, Koa Pete would make sense because that's just another trade piece you might have if you do decide to, like, move someone on draft
You
night.
need someone that's ready to perform
And there's, like,
alongside SGA.
we're on this topic of OKC. Like, they very well could, like, say, we're not going to bring Dort back. We're not going to bring Hartenstein back. We need to get under the second apron. Maybe we do take someone here and actually, like, utilize them. Because Nikola, you have to think next year, you would maybe think, like, Nikola Topic is going to be playing more. You would have to think that Tomas Sorber from Georgetown, last year's first rounder, is going to play.
I'm not a big fan of Tomas Sorber.
I think he's going to have to play.
I think he's gonna have to play. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be a big piece to this OKC team.
But to them, I think they would probably.
I think
not
they do.
incentivize
I
him
think
to.
they. I think he's gonna. I think the Thunder think that
could
he's
go
gonna
to
be a
something.
star.
I don't think he'll be a star. But
I
you
don't.
never know.
I don't either. But knowing how some GMs think and how some teams think, I think they might think he's gonna be a star. And I think, I'm not seeing it.
I would say Koa. I really would.
I think Koa Pete's the fit here.
Yeah, I think
You need
Koa
someone
makes-
along SGA.
I think Koa Pete makes a lot of sense. And then,
The Heat.
so, like, as much as I want to say Mora, I'm not going to think of that right away, or like immediately go, oh yeah, it's definitely him, because like you might want to see what Khalil Ware does with Bam. But then you also
Yeah.
have the other side of it where they could be out there together, and then you kind of have a day come off the bench. Kareem Lopez, I could very well see going here.
Personally, I think a Dymar is going to come off the board before Kareem Lopez. I do think Kareem Lopez would be a good fit here. But I think right now, I think a Dymar would probably fall to the Heat.
Yeah, while I think he would fall, I don't know if they would take him over. I really don't know about if they would take him over Kareem Lopez, excuse me.
You also got to think about Merez Johnson.
And I'm thinking now as well that you're going to have the next pick being Charlotte, obviously. I think they would want a Dymar.
They want a Dymar.
But then it's like, all right, you've got him, you've got Cockbrenner, maybe he's not a long-term guy. Maybe Kalkbrenner is not over.
You may need a guard alongside Con Kneppel.
I mean, and then you're not going to also forget about what Moussa Diabate just did for you this year. LaMelo Ball, yeah, he's good.
He's going to be their starter.
Him and Kobe White, I think the guard position is very established. I could see Morris Johnson, but to stay with Miami before we jump there, I'm also like really thinking about Hans Steinbach, but then I could also see him falling to like 17, 18.
I think Alan Graves is a very underrated player here from Santa Clara.
Yeah,
I think he's had an amazing combine as well alongside Adai Mara. I think those two have been, in my opinion, the two most surprising in the combine performance-wise. I don't know how you would feel.
I mean, I
don't know, again, if this would be the move, but I want to know your opinion, who you would take right now.
I think Miami, you made a lot of great cases why it could be a day and why he's going to be off the board.
I'm personally going to go
Lopez.
I'm personally going to Daimara
I will
here.
too. I just think he's a Heat guy. They would like to have him.
Yeah.
Kind of like where they found Jaime 3 years back.
Daimara is going to be in the NBA for a long time.
Yeah, and I think that you look at it and it's like, I don't know if they would take a guard because then like maybe they could trade Tyler Hero to like Detroit or something.
Daimara can also be used as a trade piece, and he's going to be a valuable trade piece, especially after his combine performance. Especially if you trade him during draft night.
And I feel like it's too soon to give up on some of these young guys like you. I always try to factor in a guy they took last year, and are they really going to take someone in this range, like best available, who's the same position, like a Kasparis, and we'll see what he does next year. But I'm not ready to give up on him yet.
The problem with Kareem Lopez here is with these guys from France and with all these guys that haven't played in college, you just don't really know.
Yeah, like some will hit, like Alex Sarr. I didn't think he was going to be great, but he was. But
a lot of them are hits, and there's a lot of that are busts, like Zachary Richichet.
And now after his second year, I would say he's as it stands.
You
now,
just
he's
never
a bust,
know. They're more hidden, and you just don't understand. You just don't really know how they'll fall, and you don't understand how they'll hit.
If this was his first year, like I wouldn't be so rushy, but like right now he was just non-existent his second year where he probably was bound to get better, and he kind of got worse.
The Heat are going to play it safe. They want to be back in the playoffs and be contending for a championship.
Who knows if Khalil Ware is long-term with the inconsistent playing time that he's received.
You've always got to think about injuries as well.
Yeah, but I mean, aside from that, even like kind of inconsistent minutes thrown over to Khalil Ware. And he's kind of been inconsistent in those minutes. I think, I like Adai Mara.
I think Adai Mara here is the pick.
And I would say now we have Charlotte.
Charlotte here's an interesting one.
I mean, like, I really want to say Hans Steinbach. I don't think Falone is going to be here, especially with White and LaMelo. I mean,
I personally think
as well.
I think Morris Johnson, but I don't want to fall to him because I do think Alan Graves from Santa Clara would be a great pickup for them.
I don't know about Kareem here. I really don't. Like, it's just, I feel like I could put, like you said, with the whole France thing, and like I might have more faith in I'm obviously not a GM.
I personally
think
they
might have more faith if they think like that in Hans, because I think Hans Steinbach was really good this year.
I think personally Kareem Lopez is going to fall outside of the top 15. Not necessarily top 15, definitely top 14.
Yeah.
I personally think Morris Johnson, I think, or even Alan Graves or even Anderson would be the top three guys they choose from.
I'm between Morez and I'm between Steinbach.
I don't think Steinbach would be the move here. I think they would take Morris Johnson, knowing
he just won a national championship
and competed with Adai Mara.
11 to 15,
I think knowing how he competed with Adai Mara every day in practice, but also Yaxel Lenenborg, and still put up amazing minutes and put up great numbers in the national championships
and
NCAA tournament. I think Morris Johnson would fall here.
Because then maybe we're obviously not going to mock that this would be a long time, but then you kind of look at the other picks and it's like, all right, you'll see Lopez.
I think
Falone,
it makes the most sense
however
here.
you pronounce it. But Lopez, Falone, Steinbach, those guys kind of going from that 15
They make
to 20
sense
range.
in better teams after this
Yeah.
than the Hornets, so I
Right.
think Mirage Johnson would be the move.
Yeah, I agree. I would give it to Merez Johnson, and I think that can round out the lottery.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Again, very definitely definitely a stacked class.
It's going to be an interesting draft for sure.
I mean, this is very top 3 heavy. Again, nothing's ever set in stone, because you would think back to like 4-ish at this point, 4 years ago, and it's like, oh, everyone thought up till draft day Jabari Smith was the consensus number 1 pick.
Yeah.
And then it's Paolo, and Jabari Smith goes 3rd, and Chet goes 2nd.
And now look at where Paolo is.
And even Chet, I mean, I know everyone's saying how awful he was, but I mean, still a phenomenal
Definitely,
player.
he's
Better
a great
than
player,
Jabari.
but he hasn't been performing well, Chet. But
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, and it's like, it all could change. We could be very right, we could be very wrong, but the recording here has it. We'll see in about 2 weeks' time. Right now, as we're filming this, it is the day before Game 3. The Knicks are currently up 2-0 in the series against the Spurs, just kind of going to say what's talking about around the NBA. Going to just trying to, give a quick thing about that. We'll see draft night, though. Again, I'm excited. It's always a fun time of year. And, the thing we didn't really talk about is a bunch of trades that could happen.
I'm excited. I'm hoping there's a lot of trades, but I'm also just hoping.
Like, does someone trade up from, 17 to, 12 to take Mara or Yaxel?
Yeah.
And you have to give that
I'm
thought.
very curious to see where the three Michigan guys fall.
Does a better team trade up?
Obviously, hoping Yaxel falls to the Warriors.
Does a better team trade up to get Yaxel? Like, you have to
I
think
wouldn't
about
be
all that.
surprised. Anything can happen. There's probably going to be at least one interesting trade that happens in draft night.
Yeah. Well, it was fun kind of hijacking this show today, this podcast. Ben, thanks for having us here on your show whenever you're watching this. It was
you.
a lot of fun.
Glad to do it alongside you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a great time. Great co-host here. College basketball knows everything about it, so made my job a lot easier.
Made it easier with you with the NBA because you know what each team needs, so it makes sense for both of us.
Exactly. It was fun. We'll be back on this show, I'm sure.
Of course.
Thanks to Ben for letting us fill in for him today. That's it. We'll see. Enjoy the draft and the rest of the finals.
All right. See you guys.
See you guys.
Thanks for watching The Ben Lemos Show. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an interview, update, or breaking sports story. Check out one of these videos next, and I'll see you in the next episode.